Hi, my name is Soumya. You know very well that engine has a lot of moving parts and almost all the parts are made of metals like iron, steel and aluminium. When the engine is running, these parts side and generates more heat due to friction. To reduce friction, adequate lubrication is required and this is achieved only by the distribution of clean oil under pressure. Lubrication system is one of the subsystems in an engine and supplies pressurized engine oil to various engine moving components. Lubrication system has a oil sump to store engine oil, a pump to pressurize the engine oil and a filter to clean the oil. Earlier, conventional vehicles used a gear and rotor type oil pumps which is driven by camshaft. But nowadays, many manufacturers use crankshaft driven pump called crescent type oil pump. The crescent type oil pump is also known as a crescent block. It is named after the shape of its main casting, which resembles the shape of the crescent moon. This particular kind of oil pump was very popular from 1950s to 1960s because it was more durable than other pumps at that time. The crankshaft driven pumps are twice the speed as camshaft, so they provide more oil flow even in idle. They also save space and have thinner gears.
At the end of this demonstration, you will be able to working of a crescent type oil pump, check oil pressure in the engine, service crescent type oil pump, tools required, trainees toolkit, oil pressure gauge with adapters, straight edge, feeler gauge, equipment required, a vehicle in running condition, vehicle lift, materials required, engine oil, soft cloth, gloves. The crescent type oil pump has 4 separate working parts: the suction, delivery, drive gears and driven gears. A drive gear with teeth on the outside and a driven gear with teeth on the inside. The driven gear is larger and has more teeth, but the teeth are of same size. It works by capturing, separating and discharging liquid at controlled flow rates without allowing vapors to escape into the atmosphere. As the teeth separate, they pass over the intake port. The movement of the gears suck the engine oil. Then the gears are separated by a crescent seal. When the teeth start to come together again, they forces the engine oil through the outlet port. Normally, the inner gear is attached to a drive shaft and the outer gear is turned by the inner gear at the point of contact. The oil pump servicing can be decided by only when the engine oil pressure reduces. If the oil pressure reduces, no proper oil supply to the engine components and engine will overheat. Then we have to check the oil pressure with the oil pressure gauge. There are many reasons for oil pressure reduce. Check the oil viscosity and the oil level. Suppose the viscosity and level will be correct, then decide to dismantle the engine to check the bearing clearances and service the oil pump. Now we are going to learn how to test the oil pressure and overhaul crescent type oil pump. Now we are going to learn how to check the oil pressure. The oil pressure can be checked with oil pressure gauge. Oil pressure gauge with various size adapters are available to check different types of vehicles. First, identify the oil warning indicator switch or sensor which is fitted in the engine. Disconnect the electrical connections of oil warning indicator switch and remove the switch. Select the correct size adapter, and fix in the oil pressure gauge. Connect the adapter with the engine tightly. Start the engine and check the oil pressure in the gauge. The oil pressure should be minimum 2 kg per square centimeter during idling, and it should be between 2 to 4 kg per square centimeter while the vehicle is running. If the value is less, then decide to dismantle the engine to check various bearing clearances, checking oil pump, etc. Now, we are going to learn how to remove oil pump and service. To remove the oil pump, lift the vehicle with a vehicle lift. So, we should follow the procedures for removing the engine like coolant and oil drain, disconnecting accessories, etc. Remove the oil sump. Remove the strainer with pipe and loosen the bolts, fixing the oil pump with the engine block. Remove the oil pump from the assembly. After removing the oil pump, place it on a table. Loosen the screws and remove the cover from the oil pump. Remove the drive gear and driven gear from the oil pump housing. Loosen the oil pressure relief valve bolt and remove the pressure relief valve spring with the plunger or the ball. If the oil pressure is less than the normal value, then replace the pressure relief valve spring by a new one. Nowadays, the oil pressure relief valve cannot be adjusted. If necessary, we have to replace pressure spring and plunger by new one and check all the parts for wear. Replace the oil seal by a new one. Now, check the clearances in between the drive gear and driven gear and the housing. First, check the radial clearance between the outer rotor and the housing. The maximum limit should be 0.2 mm. Check the side clearance between the cover and the gear. It should be between 0.1 mm. Check the clearance between the driving gear and the outer rotor. It should be between 0.09 mm. The limit values vary depending upon the manufacturer. For a particular model, refer the manufacturer's specification.
Till now, we have learnt about the crescent type oil pump functions, parts, and its working. Now, almost all manufacturers use this type of oil pump, which is driven by crankshaft. It needs less space and twice the speed than other type pumps. This oil pump has a crescent spacer, that's why it is called crescent type oil pump. It has an inner rotor and an outer gear. Both are rotating in the same direction. Many oil pumps has a pressure relief valve with it. This valve is designed to release pressure if it becomes too great and could potentially cause damage. The main function of a pressure relief valve is to prevent overpressurizing parts within the engine. If the oil pressure reduces than the recommended valve, then check the clearances in between the rotors and housing. If the clearances will be more than the recommended, then decide to replace the oil pump with the new pump. Thus, we have learned how to overhaul crescent type oil pump. Hope you have a clear understanding on this. Do this exercise with the help of your instructor.